Hi, it's Laura with Badger Run again, and today we have our red tail ambassador, Little Bit. Little Bit's a little cranky today, just kind of ignore this. it's, it's breeding and nesting season. Little Bit came into us in 2012 as a nestling. She had fallen out of her nest 120 feet up, and she broke two bones in her right wing and did nerve damage to her left foot. Now, baby birds grow really, really fast, and trying to splint a bird that is growing at a warp speed phase is really hard to do and have the bones align properly. So when her splint came off after 2 weeks, the bones had misaligned. So Bit is unflighted. So she could not be released back to the wild, so she joined the education team. And we've had her since 2012. Now, I said she's a red-tailed hawk. Do you see that gorgeous cinnamon color red tail? Okay, they get that in their second year. First year red-tailed hawks have a brown tail, and it's about a centimeter longer, and it helps them when they're first learning how to fly. It's like training wheels for a young hawk. It gives them more lift and less drag. So when they molt, replace the feathers the second year, that tail comes in that beautiful cinnamon red color. Now, Bit is really fluffed out today. Can you turn around so they can see your pretty face? Thank you. Very fluffed out. Bit only weighs about 3 pounds. She looks a little bigger than that today because she's a little annoyed with me. I got her out of her enclosure. That's called a mew, M-E-W. And I said it was nesting season. So she is very territorial right now. So she's not real happy with me having gotten her up on the glove and out of her mew. But it gives you a chance to really see the aggressive stance of a red tail. Birds in general, birds of prey will fluff up like this and try and look as big as possible. Now, I said she's a bird of prey. Okay, birds of prey have three basic characteristics. They have nasty sharp talons, they have a nasty sharp hooked beak, and they have super keen eyesight. So, since Bit is a little crabby today, I am not going to hold her foot up for you to see. There, all better? Okay, this is a red-tailed foot that we have for educational purposes, and you can see how large that foot is. Now, depending upon what type of species a bird of prey is, they'll use their foot a little bit differently. Owls are very straightforward. They just like to squeeze things to death. Falcons, that I talked to you in an earlier video about, tend to just grab things with that foot. They don't really depend on killing with the foot as much. But hawks and eagles have a very similar foot design, and they use their feet very similarly. They tend to take small mammals on the ground. So what they do is they pin them on the ground with their two strongest toes primarily. So you see this back helix toe and this front inside toe. Those are their two biggest toes and their strongest talons. And they pierce their prey with it. The animal will either die of shock or die of blood loss. So that's their primary way of killing their prey. However, I have seen red-tailed hawks jump up and down on things. And occasionally you will see bald eagles especially asphyxiate things, strangle them. So that's the nasty sharp talons. That's that part of the bird of prey. Now, do you see that sharp hooked beak? That ripping beak, that will rip up frozen meat. That will go straight through your thumb. And that is a characteristic of a bird of prey. Now, the last thing is a super keen eyesight. All birds have really good eyesight, but birds of prey take it up a notch. Little Bit here could see a dime on the ground from about 200 feet up in the air. Golden eagle can see a rabbit about 2 miles away. And I recently read if all the atmospheric conditions are just right, a peregrine falcon can see a rabbit 5 miles away. So they have incredible eyesight. Their retinas, that's the part of the eye where the images are collected and processed and sent to the brain. There's a whole lot of sensory cells on those. And their retinas are jam-packed with those sensory cells. Whereas we might have 30,000 in one unit area of our retina for seeing color and sharpness, they'll have 1 million, the daytime hunting hawks. So incredible eyesight. Now, I mentioned they get that red tail in their second year, but like I said, it's a brown tail the first year. So how do you tell a red tail? Just by looking if you don't have a red tail to give you that signal. There's a couple of other easy tells for a red tail hawk. There's about 13 subspecies of red tail. They're found throughout the United States, and depending on where you live, you're going to see a little different subspecies. But 2 other things to look out for other than that red tail. Do you see this belly band here? That spotted belly band? That is a field mark for a red tail hawk. The other is on the wing. So the underside of the wing, here we go. The underside of the wing. Do you see this dark bar up here at the leading edge of the wing? That's called a patagium, that area of the wing. And that dark bar that extends between the wrist and the shoulder of the wing, that is another field marking for a red-tailed hawk. So you can tell a red-tail from the ground just by looking up and looking for that patagium. Okay, well, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again soon.